Well, hello and welcome again to River Valley Farm. We're back in the shop today, garage, whatever you want to call it. Pitiful little building with a half-assed floor. Anyway, we're back to working on this thing, and obviously I made progress. My mount, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the engine's kind of leaning this way a little bit, so my mount was a little bit taller. But it could also be that the new rubber on this side was way taller than the one that was on this side. I didn't measure it. I just picked the engine up, stuck it in there, and I was able to bolt it to the mount, so I was happy with that. And subsequently, pretty much everything to do with the underside of it's done, which took me about all day yesterday. But anyway, I think the only thing I got left to do on the underside is change the oil and put that transmission dipstick back in. So hopefully that's it. Anyway, hopefully we're going to get this thing fired up today. Got to replace this gadget right here, which is an oil pressure switch. I didn't use my Napos guys or that because, well, they were going to be closing shortly when I broke the other one. But anyway, the advanced auto parts guy decided he wanted to argue with me and tell me that they did not have two different switches and that this one should have had 3 pins in it. Anyway, whatever, that's their prerogative. But yeah, you can see, I hope you can see anyway, there's only 1 pin in that. So yeah, I gotta put this piece in, hook up a bunch of wiring and fun stuff like that. Put you know, yeah, I've got lots of work to do. But anyway, hopefully we're going to start this thing up today and drive it out of here because I am tired of it sitting in my garage. So, yeah. Like I said, hopefully we're going to fire this thing up and drive it out of here today. I've got to hunt down some plug wires, which I've got extra plug wires that came off of that engine over there and different stuff. So hopefully it won't be too much of a hunt. But anyway, like I said, we got to put this thing in, hook up some wiring, you know, radiator, shroud, stuff like that. And then hopefully it'll get started up and then we can put the hood on and take it the hell out of here because I'm tired of looking at it. After I get over my breakfast, I guess. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute. Well, anyway, this is being a bit more troublesome than what I thought it was going to be because it's been entirely too long since I took it apart. At this point in time, it's like I'm following somebody else. But we're gaining. We've got, let's see, this mess here. These two connectors have to do with the I think, anyway, with the AC, with the air conditioning stuff. Or maybe perhaps this one. Yeah, this one here. And this one here are air conditioning. This one for something else, maybe a temperature sensor of some sort. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure all this out. And then this one here, I think it's supposed to go right down here to the knock sensor. But like I said, it's been too long since I took this dumb thing apart, so I don't really remember where everything goes. So I got to get this all figured out yet. And then of course we're still missing some very valuable stuff like a radiator and a fan shroud. And then I did away with all the AC stuff, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. We're just not even going to worry about it, not going to put it back, nothing, because it didn't work anyway, and it's really not worth trying to fix it. So, yeah. The condenser, basically, there's no way. No way it was going to hold stuff. It was going to hold Freon, so I wrote it off. It's seen its better days, obviously. So, yeah. I wrote off the entire AC system over that because I'm not going to invest the time and money into this thing to make it a nice truck to drive around in, because then someone will definitely tear it up like they already did. So, yeah, we did. Now they told me that they make some sort of an AC pulley that you just, you know, you can use your factory AC belt still, and there's pulley bolts up here in place of the AC compressor and all as well. Well, I bought the non-AC belt, obviously, and then just this piece right here. This is the grooved idler, and then this is the non-grooved idler, and then it just uses the same tensioner. So I did away with the entire system, removed everything other than the evaporator core in the dash. I'm not taking the dash apart to get that out, so we're good, right? But yeah, I guess I better quit yakking and start working on stuff again. So let me do that. So we had a development here. This is your AGR tube, somewhat horse for wear, and it runs from here on your intake manifold along the valve cover and down to the manifold, which I had to cut this one off to get the manifold off so I could put on the other engine some time ago now. And anyway, so what I had going on here is I had left this end in the intake manifold and went with it because I figured that would work. Anyway, I knew that or I should say, this engine came out of a 2001 model pickup. Okay, this is a 98. So naturally there's a few differences. The manifolds were different, so I had to replace or swap the manifolds over, and that meant I had to cut the old EGR tube off of the old engine so I could get it loose, because I couldn't even get it loose. And once I got it off of there, I was able to heat it up and get the ferrule off of the manifold end down there. So as I said, engines were different, manifold was different. This tube that was on this engine was a different length than what was on the other engine, so I knew I was going to have to screw with it to get it on the manifold. Well, in process of screwing with it, I broke it. So okay, now what I did was, I don't know how well you guys can see that back down there, but back down in here is where it attached to the manifold. You know, if you can see my finger anymore now that I blocked the light off. But anyway, that's got a number 10 JIC cap on it. That went down there and screwed on and tightened up just fine. And then over here, we have a 1/2 inch black iron. Actually, I think that's a stainless pipe plug. So I know the old throttle body injected GM engines didn't care if they had an EGR or not. They ran, as a matter of fact, ran better without it. So we're gonna hope that this one kind of works the same way. All of the electronics part of it is still here, so it should, you know, it's still gonna see that stuff, so it shouldn't set any codes for that. I don't know what kind of codes this engine's gonna produce anyway. It doesn't really matter. And another thing, the only other thing so far that I've found that was different, as if you'll remember, I was talking about this connector right here being short and the knock sensor just being right down here. Well, there was that other little difference right there. This is a 1-wire knock sensor, and it had its own long pigtail to reach that. So I had to swap knock sensors between the two. But anyway, mild problems. Everything you do like this is going to have mild problems. Some of them aren't worth sweating over, and some of them are. The motor mount, that one sweated me a little bit, but anyway, this one not so much. So let's see. That's pretty much it, other than putting the radiator in this thing. Oh, I got to drain the oil and refill it and put an oil filter on it too. But after that, I'm done. We'll be firing this thing up, we hope. I got the my little trickle charger on it, charging up the battery. I was going to replace these You guys, if you're GM people, you can tell me I'm stupid or whatever, but I hate these damn things. I was going to replace those too, but I don't have stuff to do it with, so may not do that right now. And anyway, I'm probably going to fill this thing up with water and run it, and just to circulate everything, because I'm going back with plain old green antifreeze, and I think this one had a mixture of green and red and orange and God knows what all in it. So yeah, we're gonna try and just run it with water and get it up to temperature, and then drain it and fill it up again with good antifreeze. So yeah, let me get some more stuff done, radiator, what have you, and we'll go from there. Maybe we'll get it started today. I hope we do. I'm tired of messing with it. Okay, so the moment has arrived, or at least we think it did anyway. We've got everything put back together on this little turd, and got the oil change, new filter put on it, got water in it. Oh, we're not done yet either. I still got to hook up these switches, these sensors, at least this one anyway. And again, we did away with a couple. Actually, there was another elbow on here before this crappy K&N filter, so there was more stuff to this. One of these here was also AC. This one went to your AC pressure switch, and this one went to a air filter restriction, I believe, sensor switch, something that was in this elbow right here. That was crushed by the K&N filter installation and not doing any good anyway. I think that's what that piece right there is that piece right there. I think that is a air filter restriction indicator for in the cab, and that's also what this is. But anyway, that's absolutely no good anymore. Or at least we're not gonna throw it away yet, because it's, well, you never know. You might need it, right? Anyway, so everything else should be done up and happy. Got one more thing to think about here before I get too friggin' carried away. Did I tighten up? Yes, I tightened up that ground. Okay, good. So now, first step I always do before I try and start anything is, since it has an electric fuel pump, turn the key on and let the pump run for a minute. Sound reasoning, one would think. So anyway, let's let the pump run for a minute. I can't hear this one running, but that may just be my ears. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, that was kind of sort of running. Like I said, kind of sort of running. Sounds like we've got some issues here. It runs though. So getting better all the time, really, I think. So another thing that we might have an issue with would be plug wires, because it's a Chevy and Chevys have problems with plug wires. So let me shut it off. Oh, that is not charging either. But I know why that is. Because I have a dummy and I forgot to hook up the main battery power to the alternator, wherever it may have went. It's floating around here somewhere. Oh wait, right here it is. This will make it charge better. And we'll see what about the rest of it in a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna swap plug wires real quick just for good measure. And then something else we might have to try too is this connector right here, because that may be the way, I think that's the way it has to be on this one, but the one on the other engine, the harness that came with it, the connector was on it this way. So the wire pigtail, whatever you want to call it, the wire lead going into the connector was on this side. I don't know if that's possible on this one or not. We may very well have to do some creative wiring, but anyway, we're going to try plug wires first. That's just one of those other finer points that I just remembered after having, you know, whatever's been going on for the last however long this thing's been in here. Give me a minute. Okay, so I've changed out all the plug wires. If you wonder why I say Chevys have plug wire problems, where's one? Okay, that's why. Okay, you take these things off of your plugs, and if the boot stays on the wire, I pretty much guarantee you it's broke. Okay, and that's not to do with aftermarket plug wires or anything else. That's the factory EGM wires. If they've been on there for 1,000 miles and for some reason you had to remove one, it's probably going to look like that when you get done. And of course, you can't go buy one wire. You got to go buy 6 wires or 8 wires or ever how many wires you needed. And then another thing that I just now noticed that I hadn't noticed before was that the distributor is in fact loose in this engine. So that's also going to be a good time. Yeah, so now we've got to time it, which I don't recall how to do that, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to set to 0 degrees and then the computer's supposed to take over from there. Pretty sure, not 100% on that, but pretty sure. That's why we have these wonderful things here though. You know, Google, all that good shit. So let's see what it sounds like now. Well, you know, at least it started. Took it out of that other truck, or when it was before it got pulled out of that other truck, it ran really nice and smooth, but anyway, it's not doing it right now. So backfired and everything. So yeah, we definitely got some timing issues. So yay, let's well, let me figure out how that works, and I guess we'll bust out the timing light and see what it does. Okay, so my timing light didn't work, so more or less what we ended up doing is we went to that engine. Hi Raylan. Hi. Went to that engine, looked at where the distributor sit on it, moved this distributor to about that particular location, and it took off and started running right. So I tightened it down, and you can see we're filling up the transmission fluid right now. And I've still got to get my ratchet back off of this damn bolt back here, if it will come off of this bolt back here. I don't know why it wouldn't come off of this bolt back here, but anyway, as you can see, it's pretty much purring like a kitten. It's got a slight shake to it at idle, but you know what, it'll be all right. Anyway, like I said, I think it's going to be okay now. I wish I had a better answer for you rather than it learned up and it's doing its thing now, but I think that's pretty much all it's doing. So Anyway, it's running. That's the main thing. It's running. Yeah, it's gonna move a little bit.
Like it usually does when you let the gas, when it's moving and round.
Yeah. So, success, I'm gonna call it. We gotta, like I said, gotta finish topping off the transmission, and obviously we need to put the hood back on, and I'm sure there's a few loose ends here and there that we need to deal with, but it runs. That's the main thing. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll get back to you later. I'm gonna have to hurry up and get some stuff done here, and then we will go from there.